So this video is for class 8 social science. So today we're going to start with the new chapter from your history portion, that is rural life and society. Okay, so in this chapter we're going to study about the revenue system during the British Empire. So let's start. In the Mughal period, the revenue system was been done. Okay, they used to collect the taxes from the people. So but the revenue system was in a very centralized manner during the Mughal period. They used to collect 1/3 of the production as a tax. Okay, Mansabdari system was been imposed during the Akbar's time. Okay, and this Mansabdari system created officials. Okay, created official who used to collect the taxes from the peasants. Okay, so these officials became they got a special power. Okay, they were the part of the central administration. Okay, and now this system, okay, the revenue system became a kind of hereditary for the officials. Okay, now what happens, because of that the zamindars, they were not able to enjoy the power, right? So zamindaris, okay, this all the system was been introduced, taxes was been collected and all. Okay, got it. But though whatever, okay, the peasants during the Mughal period was not been exploited. Okay, they were self-sufficient. Okay, they were self-sufficient peasants. But now in British Empire, what happens during the British age, it was a drastic changes. Okay, and various changes came up, right? And those systems, those revenue system was kind of exploiting. Okay, they started to exploit the poor peasants. Okay, so now there were three during British Empire. Okay, a three system was been introduced, revenue system was been introduced, that is your permanent settlement or zamindari system, royalty system, and the Malwari system. So these were the three important revenue system was been introduced. So let's first discuss about the permanent settlement. So permanent settlement, when Lord Cornwallis, okay, became the Governor General, he introduced a land revenue system called permanent settlement in 1793. Yeah, so this is the year. Okay, please keep this one in your mind. It's a very important date. Sorry, year. So during this year, your Lord Cornwallis, okay, he became a new Governor General of India. So he introduced a new revenue system that is called your permanent settlement. Okay, so it was introduced in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, and some part of Madras Presidency. So these are the regions where this settlement, this revenue system was been introduced. So zamindars were made hereditary owners of the land. The tax amount was fixed permanently. So now not the official. Okay, the officials were not the one who will going to collect the revenue. So instead of officials, your zamindars were the one who has to collect the revenue. Okay, and it became a hereditary. That means the zamindars, his son will going to be the next zamindar. Okay, so the amount or the tax which was being imposed for the peasants, it was fixed. Okay, that was permanently fixed. Now East India Company claimed that any increase in revenue would be invested back in the land to improve productivity. So the company, okay, British company, they also claimed that any kind of increasement, okay, in the taxes, they are going to use those money for the production or the improvement of the land only. Okay. So the permanent settlement was justified on the basis that would prevent corruption, as revenue officials would not be able to change land revenue at will. So this settlement, okay, the East India Company or British Empire, they say that it was kind of justification given for the people, for the peasants, okay, so that the no corruption would be done by the officials. Okay, so peasants were greatly oppressed. Okay, so mostly the peasants were the one who was been oppressed or been suppressed by the zamindars and all. Okay, got it. Now zamindars, they started to exploit the people. Okay, got it. They exploited so much that even they used to seize the land, okay, from the peasants, and they used to make that land as a tenant. Okay, so tenants, so in in order to gain the land, okay, in order to gain their own land, the peasants, they had their own land, isn't it? So to gain back the land again, they have to pay the rent to the zamindars. So this kind of exploitation was done by the zamindars to the peasant, right? Next we have royalty system. Okay, Thomas Monro, the governor of Madras Presidency between 1820 and 1827, initiated a land revenue system that came to be known as a royalty system. So the founder, or the not the founder, the person, okay, the governor who has introduced this system was Thomas Monro. That is in between 1820 to 1827. Okay, so he started a revenue system that is called your royalty system. So he introduced this system in Bombay, Madras Presidency, Sindh and Assam. So these regions, okay, in these regions, this system, that is your royalty system, was been introduced. The word royat means peasants. Okay, so the peasants were real owner of the land. So according to the royalty system, so the land was given to the people. Okay, got it? There was no zamindars in between. Okay, so the British or the British Empire, they used to collect the taxes directly from the peasant. Okay, there was no any middleman. So the revenue systems would revise every year. There were no limits on lands that the royat could cultivate. Okay, got it? So this revenue system was been revised every year. Okay, every year, after 1 year, okay, it was been revised. So the land was limited for the cultivators. Okay, got it? Okay, next, the system was introduced to remove the middlemen, that is zamindaris, as the revenue collected would be higher. So as I told you already, their main motive was to remove, okay, the middlemen, that is the zamindaris, so that the people would not be exploited by the zamindars. Okay, now in actual, royat became a tenant of the land with the government as the owner. The percentage of the tax was very high. If the peasants could not pay the tax on time, the land was sold off. So actually the motive behind this system was they imposed a huge amount of taxes to the people, okay, to the peasants. And because of the high taxes, okay, since they are now the owner of the land, isn't it? Now, so what happens here? They couldn't pay the high taxes to the governor, okay, so to the government, right? So because of that, what happens? Now that land, okay, whoever were not able to pay the taxes to the government, that land used to be sold off. Okay, got it? So this was happening. Now they became dependent on moneylenders who were highly exploitative. Now because of this, okay, because of the high tax, they were not able to pay the taxes, isn't? And the production was not so good. So because they couldn't pay the taxes, now they have to depend upon the moneylenders. Okay, so the one who is to give the money, okay, they were mostly the zamindars and all. So those moneylenders also, they started to exploit the suppressed people. Okay, so this was about the royalty. Now next system is your Mahalwari system. So Mahalwari system was introduced in northwest India, Punjab and part of central India in 1822. It was been introduced by Holmes Mackenzie. Okay, so he was the person who has introduced this system. So according to this system, the village estate or mahals, okay, it was called as mahal, okay, M-A-H-L, mahal, was jointly owned by village community, which was absolutely also responsible for payment of revenue. Now according to this system, okay, what happens? The village estate or mahal, okay, they were been joint, okay, they were combined together. Okay, got it? And what happens? Now they have to pay the revenue. Okay, they were the one who have to pay the revenue to the government. Okay, got it? So now the government will not going to collect the revenue from each of the peasants, but the village community will going to collect the revenue and they're going to pay to the government. Now the head of a families collected the revenue. The rate of land revenue was changed over time. Okay, so as I told you, the family head, okay, they will have to collect the revenues. Okay, and the revenue was so high, okay, so it was not permanent, okay, so it has started to change, okay, continuously. Then high land revenue made persons dependent on moneylenders. Now again, because of the high taxes, okay, high revenue, the people, the poor peasants, they again have to be depend upon the money lenders, right? So jamindars, revenue collectors, administrators, and moneylenders exploited the peasants. So these people were the one who was giving the money, isn't it? They were giving the money to the peasants, and they started to exploit the peasants, okay, by seizing the land, okay, by imposing more debits and all, okay. So arrogant roads become frequent. Now because of this all kind of exploitation, what happens, the people, okay, the poor peasants started to rebel, okay, they started a rebellion against the system and all, okay, got it. So next year, commercialization of agriculture. So now, before, agriculture was a self-sufficient, isn't it? Only the people of India, they used to utilize the production, isn't it? Now it became commercialization. Okay, commercialization means a business. Okay, so how it has been made? Okay, so first, commercialization. Due to industrial revolution, factories has started opening on a large scale in England. Okay, so due to the industrial revolution, which was started in Europe, okay, because of that, a new factories, okay, was been set up in the country, in England. Okay, and because of that, what happened? A huge demand of raw materials such as jute, cotton, rubber, and indigo, okay, was been started. Okay, so because of the industries, which was the factories which was set up in England, okay, whatever, the British government started to demand raw materials, okay, instead of other food, okay, other crops. They forced the people, the poor peasants, to grow the cash crops, okay, like your jute, cotton, rubber, indigo, and all, okay, got it. And they used to collect all the raw materials, okay, and they used to take to the Britain, right, and they used to utilize it. So this was called a commercialization of agriculture. Now all the products was been commercialized, right? Now next is about the irrigation. So irrigation, what were the changes in irrigation? More technology was introduced to bring more land under cultivation. So now British, they started to utilize some barren land, wasteland also, okay, to grow the crops, okay. Barracks were constructed across rivers. So they constructed a barracks across the river so that there will no any kind of occurrence of flood and all, okay, and the excessive amount of water can be taken to the agriculture field, right? Next, works were done in rivers such as Kaveri and Godavari river. So irrigation works were done, okay. They started to construct a dam and all in the rivers, okay, like Kaveri and Godavari. Next, changes in technology, okay. Very few technological improvements were made in agriculture. All types of tools were used. So there was a change in technology, but not so much, okay. Not good improvement was seen in technology, as peasants were forced to use the same old types of tools, right? So most farmers were illiterate. The government did not take the responsibility of modernizing agriculture. So most of the peasants were illiterate. So even the government, they didn't took any kind of initiative to make the agriculture more modernized and all. Okay, got it? So this is all about the commercialization and all. So in next video, we're going to discuss about the Indigo Rebellion and Peasant Rebellion. Okay. So thank you so much.